Welcome to Genealogy Tea with the Lady of Archived History, where we live in the past and spill the tea on all things genealogy related. Welcome to our first podcast, 10 Lesser Known Resources for Finding Your German Ancestors. Today we will be discussing some alternative places where you can look for records and the tools that can help you read them. The first resource I want to talk about today is Genealoger German Genealogy. This is a website, and this can be found at www.genealoger.com. And this goes in depth for language, handwriting, and scripts. This gives a history, breakdowns, examples, and resources for deciphering German handwriting and documents. The next two resources that I want to talk about are the religious ones. You can go to archon.de, which is a union of some of the Protestant churches in Germany, and their databases of records. It really does help to know the parish that you're looking for ahead of time before you go in and search this database. But as of 2020, they now have millions of pages of records available. And then just like we have the Protestant ones, we do have one for Catholic records as well, and that is Matricula. This is a nonprofit organization that has been digitizing Catholic Church records. This site also has a large collection of Militärkirchenbücher, or barrack parishes from garrison soldiers. Something important to point out, though, with this website is that it is in German, so if you do not speak German or read German, you will want to be translating the pages on this site. Next, we have a website called Kartenmeister.com, and that can be found at www.kartenmeister.com. And this is a database of towns from the former provinces of East and West Prussia, Brandenburg, Posen, Pomerania, and Silesia. These are the regions that now make up Poland. Another great place to look for records is the German Federal Archives, and that can be found at www.bundesarchiv.de. German's federal archives, and this includes where you can request military records and get familiar with what information is required when you are trying to request the military records. A lot of the military records are only available to direct family members and descendants. You will need to know your ancestors' basic information when you are putting in this kind of request, and it does help to draft a letter to them, and you will want this letter to be in German. Another little tidbit of information is to include money for posting so that they can actually pay for the postage with that when they send the records back to you. And if you want to find like a template for one of these letters that you can even just copy and fill in the information, one of those copies can be found at familytreeuniversity.com/German genealogy guides. So there is a great website, and this for German surnames, and this shows where the surnames are currently being used in Germany. This can really help you if you are trying to narrow down some locations where your ancestors may have lived in the past. And that is GeoGen surname mapping, and that can be found at legacy.stoepl.net/en. This is a free tool, and it is a very easy to use website. I do highly recommend it. I do have a couple of books that I also recommend for German genealogy research. The first book I'm recommending is The Family Tree German Genealogy Guide by James M. Biedler. This is a great tool for people who are just starting out, or to reference when you're looking at your research and just want to quick check into something or double check something. This book gives a history, it gives references, it gives types of records available, has information on translations, and then it also has a great appendix of research and resources and genealogical societies. Another book that I recommend is German Census Records from 1816 to 1916, The When, Where, and How of a Valuable Genealogical Resource by Brigham Young. This gives information on the history of the German census, where to find it, how to read it, and then basically just a complete guide to the German census records that can really help you in your research. Then I do have two more resources that I want to share with you today. The first is the Myers Gazetteer, which is a geographical dictionary of the Second German Empire. This database includes detailed information for each village, like what church parishes were there, information on the civil registers, and military districts, and more. This can be found at www.myersgaz.org. And then the last resource that I want to talk about today is Auswanderung aus Südwestdeutschland, or Immigrants from Southwest Germany. This is a database of 19th and early 20th century immigrants from Germany from the state of Baden-Württemberg and the former territories of Hohenzollern, Baden, and Württemberg. And this can be found at www.auswanderer-bw.de. So these are just a few places that you can look outside of Ancestry, MyHeritage, Family Search to help get you started on your family research with your German ancestors. And it's always a great place to check too for if you're not finding records in any of those places that I just mentioned. So I hope that this has been really helpful to you. Some of these you do need to pay for, some of them are free. I will put links down in the description for all of these resources so you'll know exactly where to find them. Let me know which resources were more interesting to you than others, or if there's any specific ones that you're looking for that I did not mention in this. Don't forget to subscribe.